Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider. We are on episode 199, which is insane to me. But joining me, as somewhat usual lately, it is Wes Hilliard. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, Andrew. Somewhat usual and unusual. If you notice my camera feed this week, I am on a MacBook webcam because Apple decided to somehow break continuity camera. So this will be fun this week.
It'll be fun. Hopefully everyone just listen to the audio. I mean, I want everyone to watch the videos too, but if you're just listening to the audio, this will not make any difference to you, and everything will be as wonderful.
Oh no, of course. Yes, our beautiful microphoned voices will come through either way. So
yes, we can soothe you on your way to work. Well, let's hope this is soothing to you, but kicking off the news, iOS 17.4, which did not come out this week, but we did learn of one new change that was kind of tucked away in there. And what I find a little odd, Wes, was this was not actually confirmed by Apple, but apparently Qi2 has arrived on iPhone 12. So back, I think it was the end of 2023, Apple released a software update that brought Qi2 to the iPhone 15, as well to a good surprise, the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 13. Now, randomly, iPhone 12 got Qi2 with 17.4, but again, Apple hasn't confirmed this. I think I don't remember which publication, but someone had tested this and realized that, yeah, it was now faster, and you were getting those 15-watt speeds. It was Macworld, actually. I just pulled it up. So it like basically double the Qi speed it was getting before. And it had the MagSafe animated picture come up now on a Qi2 charger. So for whatever reason, Apple enabled this and then didn't want to officially confirm it. Maybe it's not certified and Apple just still is like boosting speeds. I don't know. But yeah, that was a pleasant upgrade for iPhone 12 owners.
yeah, this is always fun when Apple just sneaks in quality of life upgrades like this. So and G2 is such a nice improvement. And so that takes us back all the way to the first iPhone with MagSafe, right? So now every iPhone with MagSafe has Qi2 certification of some kind. So that's definitely nice. Now you can go buy anything you want as long as it's Qi2 or official MagSafe and get that 15-watt charging. So very nice.
Frankly, this was necessary in a lot of ways. Like I know it's an older phone, right? Like it's not the newest phone, but it definitely made things confusing because if you were an iPhone 12 owner, you were like, I can have MagSafe, but not Qi2 devices, despite them being very similar. And the fact that it seems like a lot of companies that were making MagSafe are transitioning entirely to Qi2 for the most part. Like there's still going to be some dedicated MFM stuff, but most people are moving to Qi2. So you would have had way less options at that point because you were still searching for dedicated MFM stuff instead of Qi2. So this just makes things smoother. Everyone is happy now because we've got this.
Yeah. Qi2 definitely gives you more options. It's just for me personally, I think I would still, unless the price difference was astronomical, I would still probably choose MagSafe. There's enough there. There's not much, but the remembering your standby mode and stuff like that is good for the MagSafe certification. And Apple can always improve on different things later because it's their proprietary connection versus Qi2 being, okay, you have 15-watt charging, nothing else really.
Yeah. There's just going to be less options. Like I've talked to a couple manufacturers who aren't publicly saying as much, but as long as people are still buying them, they're moving to Qi2. The margins are better because they can drop the prices and still make more. So it seems like a win for consumers. It's a win for the manufacturers. Yes, the memory for standby mode is lacking, but I don't think there's enough people who are like, that's the killer feature that I need to have.
And some things don't need standby mode, and I think that really is the only big differentiator at this moment. Apple could always use that feature later, yes, to make a different thing work differently. So, I wouldn't just go fill my house with Qi2 chargers if you're completely sold on the Apple ecosystem and want access to all those features, because then you're going to be upset that Apple came out with a very specific thing for its MagSafe chargers that you can't take advantage of. So,
yep. So next up in the news, Signify, that is the parent company of the Philips Hue brand, they announced a while back that they had brought their Sync app to the Samsung TV lineup. this was really cool because you didn't need the Philips Hue Sync box to use your lights. You could just watch stuff on your TV, turn it on through an app, and you'd be able to get all that same TV syncing functionality for a light strip and surrounding lights in the room. But the couple things that they had going on there, one, it was a big one-time purchase. It was a fairly expensive purchase. Now they have a new subscription or a new monthly option. If you don't want to pay upfront for the whole thing, you could go month by month and go that way. So new subscription option for the the Philips Hue Sync app on the Samsung TVs. They're also bringing it, or it was released in Brazil, Hong Kong, Poland, and Czech Republic and Slovakia. So all of those countries now have the Philips Hue Sync app on Samsung TVs, and they have a new music mode, which is available on compatible 2024 Samsung TVs, which will sync any audio content with your lights. So I think all this is great. I love that they're still updating this. I wish it was built into more TVs and you didn't need that additional box. This is a great idea.
Yeah, you definitely want this if you use an ARC connection like I do. I use the ARC connection for Apple TV to have my HomePods play audio from every input, and I use the Philips Hue light system. Doesn't really work with all of that. So my PlayStation, my Nintendo, every other HDMI connection goes through the sync box, gets those awesome light connections for my entertainment. My light system for the entertainment area connected to Philips Hue. Go to Apple TV, can't do that because the Apple TV has to be connected directly through the television's ARC, the television's ARC port. So not great for me because I want the lights on everything, especially when I'm watching TVs and movies. It's not a big loss. It's better for games, sure. But if the box was built into the TV through an app ecosystem like this, that would be great. I think they're trying to recoup their costs though, and that's why the app's unlock originally was basically the price of the HDMI box is like $130. And this subscription again, but it is a way to recoup costs. I wonder if you can still do the one-time payment because that's how I would go. Because the subscription you're paying forever, unless the one-time purchase excludes you from certain features or future updates. I would still go that route just because again, you'll eventually overlap that $100.
I think it's also like some people want to try it out first. They don't want to drop over $100. I don't mind the price. It is very expensive, but considering that the box is so expensive, like it wouldn't be fair to just.
I think it's like $130, $200. I can't remember the exact price, but it is expensive.
Yeah, and there's not really much to it. It's a bunch of HDMI. Like, of course, you have to be able to deal with all this stuff, but it's not particularly complicated. So the fact that they're doing this all through software, I think, is great. And I don't mind the price because it is an expensive thing. I'm sure a lot of the stuff with the box is more dedicated to the hardware or the software aspect of it than anything.
Well, a lot of the price too, maybe I'm wrong. I remember back in the day when HDMI switching was super expensive. Like if you wanted to have an external HDMI box or expand the number of HDMIs in your TV by buying one of these, you're basically paying for that switch mechanism. And I'm sure it's gotten cheaper, but again, just comparing that with all the technology, like you said, probably adds to the price. So it's a little bit of a luxury too. A lot of TVs these days, especially on the low end, don't have as many HDMI ports, and you're adding 4 with this box. So it's a nice to have. And again, with these Samsung TVs, if I was upgrading my TV today and Sony had this ability, I would probably buy that TV.
Yeah. Okay, moving through the news, we got a lot more stuff to talk about. We go in with Mophie, and Mophie's Qi2 lineup is available, kind of. So they have 3 Qi2 devices. One of them is out now and shipping, which is their vent mount. So this is, I believe, a $69.95 Qi2 vent mount. Clips onto your vent. It has like this extra plastic guard that helps it from bouncing around a little bit. Ball and pivot joint in the back so you can adjust the angle to whatever you're looking for. And put your phone there on the front. Qi2 up to 15 watts of wireless charging. They also have a 3-in-1 stand that's priced at $129.95. And then a Power Station Mini Plus, which is their battery pack. The 3-in-1, pretty simple looking. You got the little front spot on the bottom for your AirPods. And on top, you've got your iPhone, and then your Apple Watch sits in the back, all the kind of standard stuff there. Power Station Mini, I really like the look of these. We're even going to talk about another one in a second that has a built-in kickstand, and you have to like poke them in and they pivot out, or stick your nail like underneath and slide them out. I've tried a bunch of the ones with kickstand, and they're usually okay. I love having a kickstand built in. Mophie went different. Like the whole back of their battery pack is the kickstand, and it's really easy to open up and close flat. I got to play with it at CES. I love the design of that built-in kickstand. So Power Station Mini Plus, I believe the 3-in-1 stand and the Power Station Mini battery pack, both of those are launching towards the end of April. So those are still coming. Battery pack $69.95, 5,000 milliamp hour battery pack, kind of standard stuff, but all Qi2. So those will all be available coming up. And if you want to order the vent mount, that is linked in the description.
These look nice. I wish someone would figure out a good vent mount system. I see a lot of these with the little hook guy on the end, and it doesn't work as well. A couple more innovative companies have come up with better spring mechanisms and whatnot, but I like the idea of the guard because, yes, if you just connect the whole smartphone charger and everything from this little hook to your vent, there's going to be a lot of bouncing and weird connection issues.
The one that I found that I think works really well, there's a couple different ideas. The ESR one is nice because they have a little adjustable like kickstand at the bottom that rests. Now it can still bounce up on your vents, but it actually helps a lot with the vibration. So I do like that one. But the one that I found that is best, that doesn't even work on my car, is from Peak Design. And they have a little metal hook, like literally like a cane that slides in between the blades and grabs the blade from the back. And then you tighten it, it just twists on the front, and it like squeezes the blade. So first, I think it's a little bit more safe because you're not like pushing something onto your blade. It's like squeezing the blade from the front and back and holding it tight. And then it's got a little arm that actually offsets it, because the problem with vent mount is you have hot air coming out. It can overheat your phone, especially when you're trying to do 15 watts of charging and you're in the sun. So it could very easily overheat during certain months. Other months of the year, maybe it'll keep it cooler because you got AC going, but in general, it can overheat a fair amount. So this offsets it, plus gives you a good angle. So I really like those, and they have MagSafe compatible ones. Qi2 ones, I assume, are coming.
Yeah, so the 3-in-1 stand, you've seen a million of these, of course, that's all to anyone's taste. The battery pack, though, I think is always fun when they have kickstands, because you get the secret bonus feature of taking standby anywhere. I know I'm obsessed with standby, but I think it's fun to maybe if you're working from a hotel lounge or a cafe and you want standby mode, you have it. You just pull out your little battery pack, you put your phone on the table in front of you, and now you have this pretty clock interface, notification system, music that you're listening to with your AirPods, all separate from your Mac, iPad, whatever. So I always find that to be a fun benefit. These pyramid-like stands are fine. I think they can be sturdy. The back of that looks a little flimsy, but I'm sure it's fine on a flat surface. I actually just reviewed a new MagSafe wallet from Journey this week. That review will be out in the next week or two. And it's actually really nice. I have it right here. And that reminds me, while we're on the subject of MagSafe, check this guy out. If you're watching the video podcast, you can see this fancy little wallet, and it's sturdy enough to hold your iPhone up in MagSafe in portrait. The only thing I wish is if they had included a way for the world's smallest minuscule battery to trickle charge your phone and trick it into going into standby mode, but I think that would add too much weight. But anyway, I wanted to point out before we move on, I had a little fun doing some DIY on my car. So this is now Car Insider. I've been testing this wireless CarPlay system. So the problem with wireless CarPlay is, what do you do with your phone? You can plug it in, but again, the whole point of wireless CarPlay is convenience. So I rigged up a standard Apple MagSafe charger with one of the little suction pads that connect to it and stuck it to the side of the under part of my dash. And now my phone just slides into this little pocket, grabs onto the MagSafe charger, and bam, there you go. And when I need the phone, I just grab the phone and it lifts away. It's perfect. And I've been dying for this. Now, everyone steal this idea because it's actually amazing. on my left side, underneath what is like the eco button, I'm in a Honda HRV, but there's in the left side of every car, there's like your trunk release and everything, and there's usually this little empty side panel. I stuck one of the magnets that you would use to get, say you want to add a MagSafe wallet to your iPhone 11. Well, these companies sell these little sticker magnets that let you attach a MagSafe wallet or whatever to your iPhone 11. That sticker is actually really great if you want to just have a place to put your MagSafe wallet in the car. And now I have a little mounting point, stick my wallet to it. It's perfectly sat, and I can reach down and thumb out my card if I need to. Perfect. Just everyone go steal that idea. Been playing around with that this week. What do you think? Have you done any fun stuff to your car or anything like that?
Not really. I've got a newer car. Like I've made other modifications, but not really on the smart side of things. Like I've got like a roof rack and other things that I played around with. I originally had when I was testing out the MagBack cases, I did put a MagBack little mount in there, and that was really handy. And I put it like on the passenger side, so you could just sit your phone kind of like right in the middle of the dash and have like a MagSafe kind of compatible little mount that worked surprisingly well. But nope, I just have two MagSafe 15-watt car chargers in there for my wife and I. Mine already has wireless CarPlay, so that's built in. I've tried a bunch of different wireless CarPlay adapters on my wife's Jeep, since hers is like a couple years older than mine. So we've tested some of those, and the problem ends up being, for some reason, like they connect while she's inside. So she'll take a phone call, and then it'll jump to her CarPlay unit that's in the driveway. Like her car is off, and it'll still just...
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
Because the USB ports now supply power to stuff that you have plugged in. So it can power these little adapters, and it's a thing. But going back to MagSafe or Qi2, the Belkin Power Station Mini Plus, this is their battery pack. This is seemingly available, or will be available, very, very soon. So they have not officially announced this as being available, but it's already up on Apple's website in Australia. So you can pick this up if you're in Australia for what looks to be about $65 or $69 when you convert from 120 something Australian. I don't know what their unit of currency is, but
Australian dollars. It's so funny because
didgeridoos.
Yeah, that's not correct. The website is here, but there's no image. It was confusing me for a second. I was like, I want to see what this thing looks like, and there's just no photos. Just Boost Charge Pro on the Australian website, but very funny.
Yeah. So one thing I thought was curious, and I'm very interested in getting an answer out of Mophie or Zagg, but Belkin says that theirs only does 7.5 watts when wireless, and then 15 watts when it is plugged in. Now, if you remember, Wes, those are the same specs as Apple's MagSafe battery pack. You could do originally 5 watts when you were walking around. Then they upgraded it to 7.5, but you could only do 15 when you plugged it in and basically used it as a charging pad. So they're saying the same thing here: 7.5 watts wireless and 15 watts when plugged in. I have not heard anyone else confirm this, but they always use, wiggle language of up to 15 watts, which is technically true, because even just like temperature and everything will play. It's not going to give you 15 watts consistently. So I want to know if other ones are doing the same thing and they're just not specifying it. So I'm going to be following up with anyone who's announcing a Qi2 battery if this is the case or not, because I feel like it might be. It's such a small constrained space. So for them to deliver 15 watts while like your phone's in your pocket or something, it did seem suspicious without some really big advancements in cooling.
I feel like it's not just cooling, it's efficiency, the power delivery. When you're plugged straight into the wall, it's going to be able to take a higher wattage from the power connection and convert that into energy for the MagSafe charger. Versus if you're trying to generate 15 watts straight from the battery connection, you're more likely to wear that battery down faster. You're, like you said, heat issues, but mostly I think just the power connection issues. So I would think it odd for a battery to go at full 15 watts. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think this is actually just a physical limitation that maybe technology will have to overcome, or maybe you need very specific battery types to get this to be efficient enough for it. But I think 7.5 watts is fine, especially if you're in portable battery mode, because you don't want to completely slaughter whatever this portable battery you're using, and you don't want to overheat your iPhone. It's a happy medium. And when you're at a plug-in, great, you can get the full 15 watts, but it's not, I don't think it's that much of a drawback.
There are times where I just want to be able to charge my phone quicker and take the battery off. Like I'm doing something and I can't have it on there the whole time, or if I know I'm going to like try to be taking photos, I hate running the camera while trying to charge because that gets really hot really fast. So like there are times where I'm like, I just need to top off and then take the battery off. And going at 7.5 at max, it still just takes too long for what I'm trying to do. So I'd rather have the 15, but obviously, like you said, there's going to be trade-offs there.
Well, at that point, a lot of these batteries have the USB-C port. And again, so I think because the power delivery over the port is more efficient than wireless, the battery pack then is able to charge at full speed. They usually have USB ports that are capable of 20 or 30 watts. So if you're in that much of a need of some battery power, yes, it's less efficient than MagSafe, and you need a cable. But now
I'm taking a cable. I'm not bringing a cable.
That's fair. Some of these guys have the built-in cable dongle. It's, you're making this complicated, Andrew.
Well, speaking of trade-offs, you know how when you buy a robot to clean your house, it does a great job, but then it gets to a step and it has a whole claptrap moment where it's like, stairs, my nemesis, and it can't do anything? Well, there is a new Matter-enabled smart home vacuum and mop that is able to climb the stairs in your house. Wes is showing a screen of a video of this thing climbing steps, and it's making my head turn upside down how it is able to do that. It is nuts. Oh my gosh. I think it's trying to intimidate that toy. It like raised up in the air like it was trying to fight something. This is a very intense marketing video with a lot of slow motion shots, but it's called the Ascent or the Ascender, the Migo Ascender. So it's a stair climbing robot vacuum cleaner and mop. You can pick it up on Kickstarter at an early bird price of $850, and then the full MSRP will be $1,500 when this thing actually launches. So a couple of the high points here, it has 9,700 pascals of suction, which is very high. Most like that boast high suction are like the 5 to 8, so almost 10,000, some of the highest I've seen. They also say 17 newtons of mopping pressure, so not only does it mop, it has downward pressure as well to help that. They've got LiDAR and time of flight sensors, obstacle avoidance, zero gap seamless edge cleaning, carpet cleaning with auto mop lifting. That's something that we'd expect here. So many things built into this robot, and it looks pretty darn interesting. I'm still just staring at it climbing steps because it's crazy.
It's kind of fascinating. I wonder if it can account for different size stairs, because stairs aren't exactly universal. There's some thinner ones, some are carpeted, some hardwood with a lip on it. I wonder if it's going to have trouble with different kinds of stairs. But I like the idea that it would be able to traverse stairs, especially you have a 2-level home. It becomes a very big investment buying 2 different robot vacuum mop guys. So maybe as long as this one isn't $10,000, maybe it's worth having a single robot that can clean both floors. Or maybe, you could always just vacuum the upstairs yourself, you lazy human. But very interesting. I like the idea.
I mean, $1,500 price point at MSRP doesn't seem bad, because it seems like most of them, like most of the good ones, are sitting at $1,200, $1,300, and the fact it's like $200 more, and it's boasting really high suction, downward pressure, mopping and everything. Also, the clearance on the mop that it raises is 20 millimeters, so 2 centimeters, which is also quite high. Like that's a very high raise for a mop. So I'm pretty impressed with that too. Like this is a lot of good things. If this thing actually, meets all these promises, I'm down. Sign me up. Like this seems like a great robot.
It looks so aggressive. Like this is not one of the robots I want to fight in the robot apocalypse. It's just going to come at me with those strong stair climbing arms, and I don't think I can deal with that.
Wes, I think, is a little attracted to this robot.
No,
I
no, no.
think
Look, it's
there's
just
some
so
feelings here.
mean. And the whole video is about dinosaurs and sandboxes. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but
You're gonna have to bring out its softer side, Wes.
uh-huh. Oh goodness.
Well, one last piece of news here. So, Robin Proline. Anyone remember this? These were the very first HomeKit enabled video doorbells that launched. And now they're out with version 2. So, this thing has a slightly new design to it. It's been upgraded from 720p to 1080p, which I know has been standard for years now. One of the things that makes them very unique is able to carry on 3 simultaneous full HD streams of video at the same time. There's new backlights. So these are like ambiance lighting that comes out of the top and the bottom of this. The plate is also still backlit, which I believe it was before. I have one outside of my studio. They have a larger speaker, which is supposed to make your voice more clear. And it comes in 3 finishes: Arctic, Silver, Space Gray, Sunset Gold, and Midnight Black. So this seems like a nice upgrade here. One of the nice things about the Robin Pro line is that it is actually hardwired via PoE, so you don't have to worry about like Wi-Fi or anything like that. This is definitely more for higher end builds because first off, who has PoE to their doorbell? Very few people. But it's also quite expensive, and it looks more like slightly more industrial. It looks like that intercom you see outside of like a gate when you pull up to somebody's house in like a really fancy area. That's what this reminds me of versus like a doorbell that's on a normal residential house in the suburbs. So good upgrade here. I'm happy with what they changed. This is still just a very kind of niche product. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, there's just better options for consumers. Maybe you have power over Ethernet to your mansion's front gate. Maybe your back gate needs an extra camera. Your butler entrance also could probably use a camera. This would be nice for that, you know. But no, of course, like industrial design is fine. If maybe that's a look you're going for. You have a nice giant metal door or something.
It looks very
I
city-like
don't know
too.
what they're
Like I
trying to
could
go
see it
for
more
here.
in a city.
Yeah, I mean, sure, sure. So maybe if you're in an apartment in New York or something, and you want to go extra fancy, it's just I don't know. For me personally, I feel like there's better designs, there's better looking doorbells out there if you want something for your front porch. But at least again, there's plenty of options out there, and I want Robin Proline to keep pushing ahead and trying to differentiate with its design because there needs to be different doorbells. Some of them do get a little bit black boxy plastic universally, so it's nice to at least see something different, trying something.
Well, before we get into one hands-on from Wes here, let's go ahead and thank our sponsor for this week's episode. I've had them all this week. It is Factor. My wife just bought another box of these, and I wish she would have gotten those little shots that I tried last time with you, Wes, those wellness shots, because those were so good. I really want that one with the cayenne pepper in there. We also had the green ones, which I was a little bit scared of because I'm basically a child, but I can't say that because my child loved them. And my
Funny.
wife was drinking them, and he kept taking them from her and drinking them like a little bottle. It was adorable. But yeah, Factor, if you do not know, they are fresh, never frozen meals that are delivered straight to your door. You can heat them up in the microwave in 2 minutes or toss them in the toaster oven in just a few more minutes and get it even like super nice finish on them. Get some crispiness on your vegetables. They are all chef prepared, dietitian approved, like all this stuff. There's Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, Vegan and Veggie. They have over 60 add-ons, including breakfast, lunches, snacks, beverages. Their smoothies, also amazing. Huge fan of the smoothies. I love those as well. Harrison also loves them. He loves the pork ragu macaroni and cheese. So it's like a pork chili over top of mac and cheese. And it's got a side of corn, garlic corn, and broccoli. Absolutely goes crazy for it. Definitely a bath night situation because that is not a clean dinner, but he will completely devour that thing. There's so many good meals here. I love them. They've been a sponsor on the show, and then we've continued to buy them outside of them sponsoring the show. So just huge fans of Factor. If you want to try Factor, if you haven't done so already, head to factormeals.com/HomeKit50 and use code HomeKit50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code HomeKit50 at factormeals.com/HomeKit50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. So, Wes,
I was going to say, this is an Apple podcast. So to connect Factor to Apple, Steve Jobs would have probably subscribed to one of these things because he was a believer in the idea of making as few decisions as possible to leave your mind open to make the important decisions. So if you spend your entire day deciding what socks you're going to wear, what clothes you're going to put on the next day, what food you're going to eat, let the professionals put together your mailboxes and send them to you and take one more decision out of your day. I just think that's another good reason why you could look into something like Factor, because
wear a black turtleneck and jeans and eat Factor.
500 black turtlenecks and subscribe to Factor. Yes.
Done. Okay, so you've got, I mentioned this on the last episode, but did not go into details. So Wes, you tried out 2 new HomeKit cameras. Why don't you tell us about them?
Well, the TP-Link Tapo line, so they have really great names, so it really defines what the product is. I tested the C125 and the TC73. I honestly have no idea what those letters and numbers mean. They seem arbitrary and random, and I wish camera companies would I wish companies would just be better at naming things. But these are some nice little cameras. If you've seen HomeKit or just home security cameras before, they're not completely unknowable, right? Like they look like cameras. There's one with, these names I can't go off the top of my head. The 125 is the one with the little arm on the neck. You set it up, you adjust it to where you want it to view. It magnetically attaches to the wall. I have one from Kasa just like this. I feel like this is kind of a standard design model for these kind of cameras. And then they also have the TC73, which is a little cylinder on a motor that can rotate with an eye that can go up and down. So you got basically 360 degrees of view. Weirdly enough, it goes 180 degrees one way and then 180 degrees the other way. It can't actually turn completely around. I don't know if that's normal for these things. I just thought that was interesting. But again, just another option for HomeKit security cameras. Go read the review, go into more detail, but I like that you're able to take advantage of HomeKit Secure Video. If you have an iCloud subscription already, you get access to as many cameras as you want, as long as you're on the 2 terabyte tier of iCloud Plus. So these are just more good additions. They're indoor cameras, so that's why they're a little bit cheaper. I know the outdoor ones get up to the 150s. These are more like $60 and $70. But the fun thing is even though it's HomeKit Secure Video, you can also use the TP-Link Tapo app to take advantage of their I guess, quote unquote, AI features. Everything has to have AI today, but they can do more ranges of object and people detection. You can set boundaries and say, anytime something crosses this boundary, send me a notification. So like if you have a baby room and and it's like Rugrats and they're always using their screwdriver they keep in their diaper to break out of their playpen, you can set a boundary so you know exactly when that happens. And now you no longer have a cartoon on Nickelodeon because you've completely defeated the purpose. But
what's more concerning is if you don't have a baby room and then it detects a baby. I would also like to be alerted about that. That's also concerning.
Baby in your house, there's a baby outbreak. Keep your eyes out. But yes,
we spray for those regularly, so it's fun.
Of course. So they kind of combine the functionality of a HomePod and a camera, which is nice. So you get the motion detections and the like object, like person, line crossing. There's also audio detections in the app, so it can specifically listen for baby crying. Again, the baby's breaking into your home. They're not very good burglars. They cry a lot. There's vehicle detection for video and audio, pet detection, meow and bark detection. I thought that was funny, and glass breaking. So again, the cameras aren't security systems as per the HomeKit definition. So if you ever dealt with like a boat or something, there's a security system inside of HomeKit. These don't surface that. And that's a little annoying because it would be nice to say detect glass, set off alarm system in HomeKit, turn lights on and off. You can't do that. The only thing HomeKit can see from these are the camera sensor. Not great, but again, for what you're paying, they're good security cameras. Do you have any questions about these guys?
One question I have, so here's just a general question. How would you position these against something like the Logitech Circle View? I mean, that's kind of like a flagship model for this, or even the Eve Cam, but both of those are priced north of $100. The Circle View is like $160, I think.
Yes.
What would you tell someone? Like, should you tell someone to buy like the Circle View? It's a flagship option, or something like this. I mean, it's a big price differential.
These, again, what I got at earlier was weatherproofing. So Circle View is actually able to be used as an outdoor camera. And those are my outdoor cameras right now. I have, I think, 3, and they're great. They've lasted more than a couple years now through weather of all kinds, wind, rain, snow. Great. Outdoor weatherproof, good cameras for the price for what they are. These TP-Link ones would not survive 5 minutes out in the weather. They're just completely open to the weather. They have a speaker grill in the back for playing your voice. They're just not built for that. So
but taking out the outdoor part, because even like the Eve Cam, it's indoor only, but it's still north of $100, I believe.
I'm not sure the benefits of the Eve Cam to compare, but I would definitely say, like, if I was in the market for an indoor camera, I would go for these over a higher priced one, just because, again, like they're 2K cameras. So I didn't say the resolution earlier. They're 2K inside of the app. They're full HD. I've noticed too, the resolution. Yes, HomeKit can't record in 2K, but it's still really crisp. It can take full advantage of that resolution. You're just not getting that 2K feed. It's a 1080p feed, right? So you have more pixels on the sensor side, but I think it does benefit the image too. The light gathering and stuff is much better, I've noticed.
Are there any additional recording options? So say if you don't use HomeKit, what options are there? And if you do use HomeKit, is there still any sort of like hardware backup option, like a micro SD card, anything like that? Or is it solely HomeKit as your recording choice?
Right. So 2 things. So first, the C125, the guy with the neck arm, that's kind of a stationary camera. That one's going to function like any other camera. You set it up, you point it at a thing. There you go. That one can, if you buy that one, that's pretty much that's a really good HomeKit only. If you're looking for a HomeKit camera, good price, good HomeKit functionality. You can download the TP-Link app for that one, but it's not really necessary. And that one is actually only $50, or it's $50 on sale. It's $60 normally. The TC73. Oh, and they both have SD cards, to answer your question. And the the TP-Link version of the cloud storage, there is a thing. I don't bother. I mean, if you're a HomeKit user, get iCloud Plus. TP-Link actually has like camera limits. I think you get up to 10 cameras, but it's like $100 a year or something. It's priced competitively, but again, just use HomeKit Secure Video and a local SD card if you're that concerned about having full 2K imagery. That would be my suggestion. And finally, the TC73, the one that can rotate, that has a motor. That motor isn't addressable in HomeKit, so you will need the TP-Link app. But what is nice, there's something called a patrol mode. I think other cameras do this. You set up a few stationary points. You say, stay here, then move the camera, stay here, move the camera. And you can set how long the duration is at each stopping point, point it up, down, left, right, whatever. And it can go into that patrol mode and go in order between those positions continuously. So set that up, go to HomeKit, and you can see the patrol happening inside HomeKit. And it will still use the HomeKit sensors to record motion, people, pets, whatever. So you get the best of both worlds, I think.
Nice. That is very cool. Well, if anyone wants to check out the full review from Wes, that is linked in the show notes. So, Wes, thank you again for joining us on this episode. Had a lot of news this week. Another great hands-on, so much more cool stuff to talk about. Still going to have some cool guests on the show. if we can get scheduling lined up, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have some more fun stuff to talk about. Yeah. Everyone, do what you guys do best. You give us a 5, 10, 100-star rating on your podcast app of choice. Please go ahead and go to youtube.com/HomeKit Insider if you want to check out the video version of this. If you want to find Wes, where can they find you?
Well, I am primarily on Mastodon. I know you still haven't made the way over to the Dawn, but it's pretty nice over there. You can talk to me, tag things, whatever. I'm there all the time. Twitter, I still have an account. You can tag me. I'll respond. Otherwise, I'm not really seeing things there. You can always find my email at the top of every article I write. Click the email button. You can email me directly. But yeah, just also, I'm on the Apple Insider podcast every week. We release new episodes every Friday. So if you want to hear more Apple specific news and talking tech, AI, and virtual reality, all that stuff, you can find me over there. And I guess today was April Fool's Day as this releases, and we didn't do any gags, so I feel a little bad about that. But what about you, Andrew?
I'm bummed, but I also get annoyed by April Fool's Day sometimes.
I
like all like the fake products that companies announce because I think those are fun. But like I think 12 South has done a few good ones, but I just kind of get just otherwise a little annoyed.
If we had to do it over, we would have started this episode with both of us in our personas from Apple Vision Pro and saying the whole show's pivoting to persona only, and then immediately give up on that gag because that would be terrible.
Yeah. Oh well. Next year. Oh shoot, we spoiled it. No one remember this.
Oh yeah, forget it.
Cool. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.